Yes, we started in slavery, but that's not where we ended. That's not the end of our story. You come from champions, you come from veterans. When you see it, I can do it. But if you never get that knowledge, and then they tell you you're just a criminal or a thief or this, and that's stuck in your head, and it's not okay when it's not told the full truth.
It's been so long ago, it's hard to remember all of that stuff. We had the first gym for the blacks in most of Georgia. We were a winning team, that's all I can say.
Well, our ancestors were enslaved by the Cherokees, and then after that we were enslaved by the white settlers. This is Miss Maud Chatham right here. She is the great-great-granddaughter of Mr. Charles Hunt, who was brought down by David Hunt, his slave owner, before the Cherokee Nation was removed. It is Mr. George Sr., who was born a slave right here, and that's also Miss Maud's great-grandfather. George's great-grandson graduated from Harvard Law School, so he went from enslaved to Harvard Law.
Hey everybody, I'm Robert, and this is Adventures into History. On this video, we are in Calhoun, Georgia, in Gordon County, visiting with descendants of a people who were enslaved by both the Cherokee Nation and later under the United States, and how those people and their descendants rose up from oppression. It is a story that's often been overlooked and even excluded from history books, and that trend continues even to this day, as you will hear in this video. But with the efforts of Shauna and the Gordon County Civic Club, they're working to not only preserve that history, but also share it. This is a story of knowing where you came from, what you rose up against, and how it should inspire us all today. But the fight to tell this story still continues.
He was a Jewish man from the North, Sears and Roebuck's president at the time, who partnered with Booker T at Tuskegee University. He gave $2,500 to communities for the black students to have an actual school. And in 1929, Georgia got 249 schools, and Calhoun got one of those schools. This land had to be donated in partnership with the black community, and they donated the land and then they built the actual school, and they raised funds that matched the $2,500 and more. It was a Rosenwald Elementary, and as you could tell, here is Arthur Hunt, the grandchild of Charles Hunt, was one of the trustees, original trustees of the cemetery, as well as the school. They are the ones that raised the funds for it, and this was the site of the original school. In 1966, when they were forced to merge, they tore that down and built the community center. And there's another marker right there that tells you about Stevens High School. It was the second stage, third stage of the black community's actual school system. And if you walk back here, I'm going to show you the school that they now have as the utility company. Now, we do have stewardship over the community center as partnership with the local city. We don't own it, we just have stewardship of it. Now, they were called the Hilltoppers. My mom went to this school, and all black people. This whole area over here is where black people lived. That is the original Stevens High School. That they don't acknowledge it, but that is the original Stevens High School that won the 12 state championships, and it is the only black high school in Gordon County, and it is now used as the utility company.
And when was it built?
That was the 1952 expansion, that the reason we got the 12th grade. So in 1949, 50, they start building it, and it was also built with black hands. That is the gym, and we'll walk around on the other side. But up here, the school, and then they had a little module that sat back here that became the 11th grade, all the way to the 11th grade, and then in the 50s, they added that section, what took them to the 12th grade. Now, when I was in middle school, this was considered Line Street, and they repurposed the Stevens High School, and they turned it into an elementary, middle school, 5th and 6th grade. And this is where I went to 5th grade. It was called Line Street, and then they turned it into pre-K, and now it's the utility company. But there's no marquee anywhere that says it's Stevens High School, home of 12-time championships. It's unreal. It's unreal. Now we'll walk down on the other side and you'll actually get to see the gym. And we held 7 state championship tournaments here. And this is in the newspaper, and we have it blown up. We're trying to petition to get the gym back so we could turn it into a museum. So we can hang our 62 banners from all the boys state championships in 1952, 1954, 1959, 58, 59, and 60. And the girls championships 58 and 59, and then the track championships 57, 58, 59, 60, and 61. In the 60s, my grandfather used to own all this land, Frank Mays. He's the one that's buried at Colbert Cemetery. The federal government claimed eminent domain and took his land and built the projects, the housing projects, which depressed all the values, future values of all the single family dwellings. And they did this in, they only did this in poor black community, but my grandfather used to own all that land. And they claimed eminent domain and took it. And that's what they built. Now this gym was packed. 1952, our boys basketball team was undefeated. They were district champions is what the GIA called them. This gym was packed with white and black spectators, and our boys went undefeated in 1952 and won the state tournament championship right there. And our girls were runner-ups. That's the only game that they lost. This would be considered the front part of the gym, and as you can tell, it's covered by pine straw, but it used to be steps going down to it. Yep. And little concession stands. We had a football team, but they wasn't as good as our basketball team. Our track team was also excellent. We had 11 individual state champions from the Mr. Franklin Printup. They call him Jeep. He won the 400, the 200, the 4x1 relay, the 4x4 relay. We had according to the paper, we had a lease on that district title because we kept winning back to back to back to back to back. And this gym, when I was a kid, this was the Line Street Gym, and we did play in it, and the black community had stewardship over this until something happened somewhere in there in the 80s, and the city took it back and they turned it into a gun range. And now it's the storage building. But the truth is, what it really is the home of 12-time state champions. 10-time total, 9-time consecutive state district championships, 10-time total district championships, boys basketball. And from that boys basketball team, they won 5 titles. You look at my shirt right here, 5 titles. The girls team and the boys track team. All of this was right here, and all of those students right there are the descendants of the slaves of the Peters Plantation. And those children became exceptional. Matter of fact, those basketball boys and girls in the 50s put Gordon County on the map, and Gordon County became known as basketball country. And it's not, look, there's no marker. This used to be a softball field. Our rec center turned the outdoor basketball. They tore all those up and put all these tennis courts, and this is the only place in the county to play outdoor basketball. But they took the softball field that we used to play over here on. And again, there's no marquee anywhere telling you what this really is. And this is part of our cemetery's history because it all links us together. Underneath the solar panels over there is our swimming pool. Back in the 60s, you know, blacks and whites were separated, so we had everything they had. Well, I used to swim in that pool. Well, they covered that pool up in the 80s. That's what they did in the 80s. But what we would like is we want a marquee there to say this is the home of. We'd like this gym back to turn it into our actual museum to honor all of the work and the progress that they made in a segregated South, and they still played, they still worked, they still produced, and they didn't just produce a little. To this day, there's not another team in Gordon County's history that's ever won a state basketball boys or girls title, and we're talking about ever since 1850. Girls and boys Hornets, the Hornets and the Hornets, Stevens High School, right here, 10 times. But we've got the brackets from the GIA. It's on the Georgia High School Athletic Association's website. The GIA was the black version of that, and it got absorbed in 1970 to the GIA. But they didn't keep the records but they kept enough. The brackets and all of that stuff, we have every bit of it. We have the brackets from the boys and girls basketball programs. We have the state track and field records, and then we also have the ones from the newspaper. When I tell you the history is so deep, and 90% of those young men that played on those teams, every one of them went to the military. They're all veterans. And out of that first championship team, there are only 4 that are surviving. E.Z. McDaniel, Bobby Chatham, Robert Chatham, my uncle, J.C. Lee Godlock, he lives in California, and Mr. Pritchett. Those are the only 4 still remaining from that original 1952 team. The first team to ever in this county win a state title. And nowhere is that written, but we're gonna change that. They tore the floor up too. When they put the shooting range in, the irony, think about that. The irony of the police coming to the black gym. They did take the bleachers out, but it's no longer a gun range for the police. Now it's just storage. We're not allowed in, but Miss Maud walked in one day when she was over here to pay her light bill. And she said, I just walked in. I mean, hey, she ruled the roost. Like, Miss Maud, you was a state high jump champion. The Olympics was watching you. And she said, oh yeah, I forgot that. She went to Tennessee State. Yeah. That's where she went. She went to Tennessee State. The McDaniel, yes, the McDaniel boys. That's what they called them. E.Z. McDaniel was one of the most decorated coaches in Georgia history for black men. Even when they merged, this man had 2 championships under his belt, state championships under his belt. Then he became the coach of the team. And when they merged, do you know he didn't get a job? He had to go to Cave Springs to coach. When they merged in '67, they kept 2 black teachers. Dr. Smith, we only had 2 doctors of education in town. One was a black woman, Dr. Smith, and then a white man. They promised her the high school principalship. Of course, they didn't give it to her. They gave it to a man that only had his undergrad degree. Do you know she had to leave and went to Alabama? They destroyed this black community in '67 when they merged because all those professionals had to leave and go find work. So all the black businesses, all the black excellence, not only was it split between the city and county schools now, all of their teachers, all of their entrepreneurs, they had to go and find work. So that meant houses were available. Then let's fast forward to the 80s. That 80s sentencing structure devastated our community even more. That 90s crime bill, it was a wrap. And then people like me that went off and went to college and came back, they didn't give us jobs. They refused to employ us. So a town that once had a bustling all-black school and all these state championships and had 1,500 people has now been dwindled down to 400. And they wonder why our cemetery had been a little, I'm not gonna say neglected, we pay for that. We cut that grass, we do all of that stuff. And if you don't have money from employment, how are you doing it? Right. So my aunt and them who are 87, Miss Mary Ruth who just turned 80, all these people, they have stood in the gap. Churches are affected by it, tithes, all these things. And this is how you get right now. And right now what we have is, this used to be the black side of town. We have less than 400 black people here. From a time when 20% of the population to less than maybe a percent. Your old stomping grounds.
That's it. I think we had the first gym for the blacks in most of Georgia, the area, Class C schools. We were Class C schools, and that's where we had most of the tournaments and district and state tournaments. And we were a winning team, that's all I can say. Yeah.
Now, how many points did you score in your career?
In the whole career?
The whole career.
Well, I don't remember, but my highest game was 53. I remember that.
It's like 2,200.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up.
But this one right here.
Yeah.
First time state champions and back to back. Now,
Yeah.
y'all know that's an achievement, because you hear people always say back to back. They're gonna go back to back right here.
Yeah.
She was the leading of the team, and her whole family. It's
Yeah.
not her.
Yeah. So that was what, 59, 58, 59?
59, y'all went
Yeah,
undefeated.
yeah,
From top to bottom, undefeated.
yeah.
58, y'all lost that one game
Yeah.
in that district
She
championship.
remembers more than me.
That's just because I just started researching.
Yeah. Old school was there, and then I guess you told them about the new one over there.
That she actually attended here.
Yeah, I did. Where that building is, it was another building there, and we had 4 rooms. And that's, I don't remember exactly how many grades, but that's where the school was. They were good days. Yeah, we enjoyed it.
In the front of where the school is right in there used to be a bunch of houses.
My granddaddy, the other granddaddy
used to live right there
down
in
there. Yeah, sure
Like
did.
I said, all this land owned by black people.
Yeah,
And this was also part of the Peters Plantation.
it was.
It was part of the original 4,000 acres. And it was because of the river, the Uskalova River is right over there. He said it reminded him of Pennsylvania. And that's why he bought it. And all of this right here was part of his 4,000 acres. See how it all ties in? And from that tie-in, the Hunts were given a lot of land over there where they bought it from the Peters, but right over there. And right over the hill, at the bottom of the hill right here at that stop sign, right there on the right, on the left is where a lot of the Hunts live. A lot of them live right there. But yeah, this was the place to be on Friday night, wasn't it?
That was it. That was
It
it.
was the place to be.
Yeah.
And you had black and white spectators, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
Now, I was telling them this was the actual front of the gym.
It was, yeah, and we had classrooms. It was classrooms up front.
Oh, that's what those windows are for?
Yeah, we had classrooms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But see, it's always been brick. When I was a kid, it was brick.
Oh,
But
okay.
those were classrooms.
Yeah,
too.
classroom.
But that makes sense because you had 2 up there,
Yeah.
and you had that one, and
And
then you
then-
had classrooms
yeah,
up here.
right.
Wow. In the 80s, we used to have reunion games over here too. The black community still had a place that they could come and play. Now, it used to be a walkway that started right there and went all the way to the school. And again, look, there's no marquee anywhere that tells you what this really is. And I know for myself, as a black child growing up in the South, or as a child period, visual counts. And when you see excellence, you want to replicate excellence. And I know as a basketball player, if I'd have known all this, I'd probably been stuck up under Miss Maul. Now, my grandmother played, but she played in the 40s. I probably would have been I was stuck up under my uncle. When you see it, I can do it. But if you never get that knowledge, and then they tell you you're just a criminal or a thief or this, and that's stuck in your head. But the truth is, no, you come from champions. You come from veterans. Yes, we started in slavery, but that's not where we ended. That's not the end of our story. And it's not okay when it's not told the full truth. People like Miss Maud are exceptional. And I don't know what it feels like not to have that acknowledgement of all of that they accomplished. Nobody's saying jump through hoops, accolade, but the acknowledgement. Because that was a feat that nobody has replicated because it's hard. And their children's children need to know what they actually contributed to the success of the actual county. We're not an afterthought. We're not a footnote. We are some of the pioneers that created the possibility of this county even being formed. And not to acknowledge that is downright criminal. It just is, because if we were reversed, there'd be parades uptown, it'd be marquees everywhere, because that's some serious history. So our goal is to give them, as these young folks say, give them their flowers, because she more than deserves it. I'm proud of y'all. Learning all this stuff, yeah, I'm proud of y'all. I mean, it's just unreal. My uncle was the first black police officer here in 1960 before integration. And guess where he went to school?
Stevens.
The first in the county. And he's married to my blood aunt, who was on that 1956 team that went undefeated but lost that state title. She also graduated. They both graduated in 56 from Stevens. But Janie, my aunt, grandfather, great-grandfather, everybody's at Coburn. See how it ties in?
Absolutely.
It's unreal, isn't it? How do you not acknowledge it? They wrote a book in 1976 called The Bicentennial of Gordon County. And we are nothing but a small footnote. And they don't even mention Stevens High School. They don't even mention it. How do you not mention that? You should be popping your collar talking about this is why we are who we are. And it just doesn't make any sense why you don't acknowledge it. Remember in the 80s, Miss Ma, when we did have them basketball tournaments?
Oh, yeah.
The reunion tournaments? And then whatever happened, they took the gym back and they took the keys. That was what? Late 80s? When they did that somewhere around there?
So I don't know.
Yeah, late 80s. And we did complain, but we never got it back. But we're trying now. And we've got enough historical history to actually get it zone historic.
Well, I can't wait to the day to come back and get a tour of it when you
With
get
all them banners hanging.
That's right.
Y'all leaving? She came in. That's Miss Stevens at that school right there.
I'm Miss Stephen High and Miss Primary High when I was a little bitty girl. Bring back a lot of remembrance. So we're just glad to be part of it and got it cranked up again. So I'm so grateful for you to come and share this moment with us.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the invitation.
All right, so you got a lot of information in one day, didn't you?
I got a lot of information.
He drove 3 hours.
Really? Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
Oh,
great.
yeah.
But thank God for Shauna. 'Cause
Absolutely.
she have covered us so much, and I have learned so much from her, being with her, and from the beginning to this point.
Yeah.
But see, I'll tell you, the Lord has been guiding the whole way.
Yeah.
Move here, open this, go look here, go do that. Those are thoughts that gets dropped in your mind, because I truly believe that before it's all said and done, everything will be revealed.
Yeah.
And the accomplishments that they made were not minor. The accomplishments that our black ancestors made to the county made the county possible. Then their children made contributions, brought state titles and recognitions here. Then they become successful. Then their children became successful. And those stories deserve to be preserved and told. And the denial of them is a problem.
You tell him about the tree.
The witness tree.
Witness tree, I call it the wisdom tree. I would say if he could talk, it would tell you all the same thing about the cemetery. If he could possibly talk. But it's covered the cemetery over all these years. And that was only through
Her
God.
son was one of the first black detectives in town.
Mike Gary. He's awesome. He died from COVID. He was a diabetic, but he died, in 21 from COVID. And then I lost my husband the following year with a stroke.
I'm sorry.
So it's been worth riding. It's been worth the road to carry. So we appreciate, like I said, we appreciate you coming and listening to us.
Of course.
And to tell us stuff.
I really appreciate the invitation.
Yes, and we appreciate it too.
History must be told so that we don't repeat that history. Whether it be bad, good, or indifferent, it must be told. You learn from that history. You can either go forward or you can repeat it and go backwards. And in our current climate right now, it seems like we're trying to go backwards, but we as a group of people, all different skin tones and hues, we're going to pull everybody forward so that that history of our past ancestors are not repeated in slavery. Because those were atrocities, and we have overcome so much, and I am so proud of my mother's generation, their generation, our forefathers and mothers' generations, because the stamina and fortitude and the resilience that those men and women had to have in order to survive that was great. And that wasn't nothing but the power of God. And we do appreciate awareness, because that's a lot of times what black communities are missing is the awareness. Our community was devastated by the 90s crime bill. It was devastated by the 80s sentencing structure and the crack epidemic. And a lot of these things were government issues. You hear people always talk about domestic and foreign terrorists. And our community has been terrorized from its inception in slavery and systematically prevented from moving forward. And every time we did move forward, they try to pull us back. And we kept resisting. And that these wonderful people and this area over here is a product of that resistance and moving forward, no matter what you say. we're going to move forward. We are some of the most giving, kind-hearted, loving people, contrary to popular belief that we're violent, because we're not. We are the ones that will feed you when you're hungry, bring you in out the rain. That's us. That's us. Welcome you with open arms. That's us. Even after you've enslaved us, we will still be the ones right there. Now you tell me what other group can say those same things, and we still are standing tall and firm. And that's what the Gordon County Civic Club's mission right now is, to make everyone aware of that, to preserve our history so that our children's children will know you come from somebody, and somebody great.